because tomorrow's Sunday and I have nothing to get up for besides puppies to feed, but they're good.
No, so. There you go.
Welcome back to Best Beers in Me, beer reviews from Maine, New England, and beyond. And shocker, we're heading back to Milo, Maine.
Milo be at Portland, though. This come from Portland.
Oh, well.
Same difference. We got Second Crack, Elements Coffee Roasters, and Bissell. It's an Imperial Coffee Stout, 9.5%, 500 milliliters.
So I did not know we had this in a bottle. I had to kind of look at it when you said Second Crack because we usually have it in the can.
No, First Crack comes in the can, Second Crack comes in the bottle.
Okay, gotcha. So
and actually, usually I have this at the Down Under because it's been on tap for, I think I'm the one that drinks it.
How old is this bottle?
So this got some, we'll look here in a second, but even have proper glassware, pouring out a nice thick, look at that.
So if you ever watch Joe's reviews, beer tastes better in proper glassware.
That's right. Shout out Joe's Arcade.
Very important.
Probably the guy that got me into doing beer reviews because I always watched his channel for years.
Yeah, I really enjoy. So out of all the beer,
that's a shout out to Greg's.
Out of all the beer reviews that we watch, I think Joe and Greg are my two favorites.
I might have got a little more.
Yeah, you did. You got 100% got the lion's share, but that's okay.
So when this beer first came out, it was probably my favorite coffee beer I've ever had, and I had it so fresh. I had it before it even came out at Bissell Brothers.
How did that happen?
Because the Down Under put it on draft on a Thursday night, came out Friday.
Oh, how does that happen?
Pulled a few strings, told them to put it on, and they did. I'm assuming at this point, I don't know if it says a bottle on date. I don't think it does.
Okay, so not a cool thing.
Not a bottle on date, so.
And that's rare for Bissell.
Bissell Brothers, that's very rare.
Yeah. 30 years really good. So shout out to Greg. I'm huge on the canned or bottled on date.
So I'm hoping this still has coffee flavor. I guarantee it's not what it was.
Okay, so you get the nose.
Well, let's check it out.
And tell me it doesn't have coffee.
Oh, it's still got the coffee.
Yeah.
But I'm guaranteeing that's not what it was. Guarantee that coffee. It's just not. There's no way because it's.
Maybe not, but it's still got really good.
Actually, I can tell you exactly when it came out.
Really good coffee on the nose.
No bottle on date, but I do know it was released December 10th because I checked into it. I had to create this check-in on December 9th.
Oh, it's Ben Drew's birthday.
Shout out Ben Drew.
Shout out Ben Drew.
Got a question how you know when Ben Drew's birthday is.
Oh, we were friends since we were in second grade.
Elements Coffee, Imperial Maple Coffee Stout's in the description because that's all I knew. So that's I had to create this. So I know exactly when this came out.
And on the nose?
And I had it December 9th, and it was unbelievable.
So like in the past, like especially with First Crack, I've gotten the maple, whatever. I don't get maple on the nose. I get the coffee.
I call it coffee explosion.
I don't get the maple.
This was the best dark roast coffee beer I've ever had in my life.
Really?
That tastes like it was just thick, delicious stout with amazing.
So I'm surprised. What did we have a few nights ago? A few reviews ago, we had a beer. And it was a coffee stout, and it was a particular coffee place that.
No, we had 6 grain, but it wasn't the coffee one.
No, but we did have another. We had another coffee stout.
I don't remember.
That was maybe a week or two ago, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really good. I'll have to look back and see.
I don't know. This is Elements Coffee, and I know we haven't reviewed any Elements Coffee roasters. All right, so with all that said.
Cheers, Deb.
Let's see what we get.
That still has coffee.
But nowhere near what it was.
Probably not, but it's still pretty darn good.
About 2.5 months since it came out, so.
So today I bought Dunkin' Vanilla Double Double.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little shot of that in this would be amazing.
But I can tell you when this first came out, you wouldn't need to add any.
Nope.
It was.
But I honestly think that would be good.
Swear to God, I've had some really good coffee stouts, and this was the best I've ever had.
Still pretty darn good.
But it's fallen off dramatically.
It has, but it's still got a nice full like bodied, like the mouthfeel is still
Well,
pretty.
I mean, it's
and it's still got some pretty good coffee notes.
So I remember right before I found out this was coming out, I was saying, geez, I wish Bissell would put out First Crack because I wanted a coffee stout. And then it wasn't like even a week. I'm like, they posted about this. And I said, oh, Second Crack, brand new beer. They ramped it up. And I'm telling you.
So what's the difference between First Crack and Second? I've had them both. But what's the difference between First Crack and Second Crack?
First Crack it wasn't as big of a stout.
So it's just basically the ABV that was different?
As far as I know. I don't know.
Definitely what we need is bigger ABV.
And on the Greening In podcast that Noah does with Matt Robinson, they talk about this beer and the way they did it. They had a coffee roaster on as a guest, and they were talking about what they did.
I think I did. I think I listened to
and
that.
I couldn't tell you what they did because I don't remember. But
so he was the one that totally stepped out and didn't know if this was going to be successful, and he bought this equipment. I think I listened to that. We listened to that on our way to Augusta one day.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the coffee really it's just nowhere near where it was.
No.
And we actually had a bottle of this before. You don't remember it, but we did. And it was still hanging on pretty good. I don't remember when we had it. I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
So, I have to say, even as old as this is, it still has some pretty decent coffee notes. It's still pretty thick, pretty creamy. I think a little fresher. It would be better.
No,
but
fresher. Like I said, it was my favorite.
But I'm absolutely not disappointed in this.
No, and I'm with you that the maple.
No, I don't get the maple like in the First Crack that we've had at like the Down Under or even at Bissell. I don't get the maple.
I'm pretty sure they made this with maple again, but
no,
I'm quite sure.
I don't get any maple on this at all.
No description on the bottle or date on the bottle. Can't believe it because Bissell's very good with their dates.
Absolutely.
There's no date anywhere on this bottle. No, it's not there.
But it's kind of a cool looking bottle. Like it's a pretty basic, but it's kind of cool looking. I like the black and the yellow.
Again, when I had it fresh, it was a 5. I wouldn't give this a 5, especially if this was like a fresh bottle tasting this way. I did give it a 5 when it was fresh. It was just coffee for days and days and days, dark roast coffee.
And you know how I feel about my coffee. So the coffee stouts. So just a little background history. When I first started drinking the craft beers 3.5 years ago, I said, okay, so these IPAs are great. Do not ask me to drink a stout because they're disgusting. I'm not going to drink them. Don't like the looks of them. And I love the stouts.
And I love coffee stouts. I just love a good coffee stout.
I love the coffee stouts, but I really like the peanut butter. Like,
I know
I don't know what it is. I really am. If I can get a really good peanut butter stout, like, I'm hooked.
Definitive just come out with one. Might want to go down and get it.
Right? Really?
Yeah. It's peanut butter, banana smoothie, and chocolate, I think.
Oh, and you know how I feel about Definitive.
So it's...
So I have to say...
made it the same style as their smoothie sours. They're probably like...
I would love to try that, but my two mainstays are Gunner's Daughter, which was the first stout I ever had, and probably always going to be my favorite. If you can get a fresh Gunner's Daughter, I would recommend it every day. So good. It's like a nutty bar in a glass. And, as you know, Barreled Souls peanut butter Stay Puft, because it's like Spanish peanuts in the glass.
Shout out Definitive, Mass Landing, Barreled Souls.
Yeah.
Elements Coffee Roasters. Anyone else we can shout out?
Yeah. I really think like it was the whole like appearance of the stouts that turned me off in the beginning before I ever tried them. Like the dark black beers, I'm like, oh no, I'm not trying that. And then the first one you ever said, okay, so try this, was a Gunner's Daughter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay.
Oh, Gunner's Daughter.
These are my favorites.
And then there's Coffee Gunner's Daughter. I don't know what coffee they use in theirs. But
I don't know. But honestly,
Gunner's
like these beers are not appealing looking. If you
there's no head, the head doesn't stick around.
There isn't. And if you think of beers, you don't think of a beer with no head and like a pitch black beer. Like that's not appealing at all. But then when you get the flavors of these beers, like the coffee, the peanut butter, the roastiness, it's just way different than the appearance. Because honestly, the appearance is kind of a turnoff to me.
Not to me, especially if I know there's coffee, but it's... So, coffee falls out of beer maybe faster than hops.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Because this is, while it still is a good tasting beer, it's more of a just a stout tasting beer.
So it's more of a roastiness than it is a coffee.
Yeah. But when it first came out, man, it was... I wish there's a way to keep that forever and just buy 100 bottles of it and have one every month.
So if I could buy 100
really
bottles of anything, it would be Barrel Souls Peanut Butter Stay
You
Puft.
are just...
I am obsessed. Not even joking. So this is a good beer. And Bissell is one of my top 2 breweries. I have 2. It's Bissell and Treehouse. And they are right neck and neck. And so I have kind of a tie to Bissell because the staff there is amazing. And I don't to Treehouse. But when it comes to the stouts, it's Barrel Souls all the way. So I would literally buy 30 of the peanut butter Stay Puft tonight. I could probably drink one every night.
Jeez.
So shout out to Barrel Souls. But I'm just telling you, like, I actually crave that beer.
Yeah, I know. That's all you're talking about on this whole
Yeah,
video.
I'm sorry, but I do. Because they nailed it.
Yeah, well, regular peanut butter Stay Puft's coming out this year. We can get to that later. Final thoughts on this beer by Bissell.
He's totally putting me off on this.
No, I'm not. It's fine.
So
You can talk
I
whatever
would
you
have
want.
to say,
I'm just.
if
trying
we
to
had
bring it
this
back.
fresh, I would probably give it a better rating. I'm going to say, and only because it's not fresh, it's almost 3 months old, I'm going to say a 4.0.
So are we ranking it based on what we're tasting right now?
Yes.
Fresh, 5 all day.
So fresh, I would probably give it a 4.75, but we're not drinking it fresh.
No.
And so not to take anything away from Bissell Brothers, because fresh, I think this would be amazing, but only because we're drinking this like almost 3 months out, and a lot of it, the coffee has fallen off. That's what I would give it.
So as what we're drinking right now, I'd give it a 4. Fresh is 5 for days. Coffee for days.
Yeah.
Dark roast coffee for days. And I would drink that beer every day. If I
So
could.
literally not Bissell's fault that
Would
we're
be very
drinking
healthy,
it
but
like
it would.
almost 3 weeks out.
3 months.
Or 3 months out. I would probably give it a 4.75 or 5
Yeah.
if it were fresh.
I'm going to go with the old final chug like Greg does.
Not me. Nope, sipping it and enjoying. Don't do the final chug.
So final thoughts are, it's still delicious. And
So-
chugging it like that brought back somehow some of that coffeeness. That is awesome.
Did you look on Untappd to see what
Yeah.
our friends?
So if you want to add us on Untappd, best beers in me. And second crack.
So can I just throw this out there?
What?
So Kidney wants us to do some battery steel reviews.
Well, Kidney can send us some bags.
Kidney, send us some battery steel beers. I'd be happy to do some reviews.
And if you want to send us some beers to review, bestbeersinme@gmail.com.
Yes.
Give us a shout out or shout out on Instagram or Facebook, Best Beers in Me. And let's take a look. We've got 337 people have checked in with a 4.36, which is a pretty good score.
Yeah, but I'm thinking they probably
And
had it
here,
a
this
little
is a little
fresher than we
surprising.
did.
5 friends have checked in at a 3.65.
No.
So
So even 3 months old,
the friends,
I would give it way more than a 3.65.
Tim Chase, who had it at the down under, just like 15W40 Rotella T, he's calling it a motor oil. He gave it a
No.
0.25. So there's why the friends
So,
checking
sorry,
at a 3.65.
not sorry. Apparently you have no taste in
Well, maybe
in beers.
maybe he doesn't like Imperial Stout.
Well, okay, so
Here's a better one by Chris Brook.
okay, listen to me, but here's the thing, if you don't like Imperial Stouts and you try one, don't get on and review it if that's not your thing.
No, well, but that's the thing. You can do whatever you want.
You can, but that's not a fair review.
Chris Brook, who does a lot of Trillium, Treehouse, and Bissell,
Mm-hmm.
he gives it a 4.25. Says very much in my wheelhouse. Give me all the coffee forward stouts. Seemed a little sweet when it warmed up, but loved it for the most part.
Very good.
And I don't think anyone gave it. No, Jamie Ramsey. Shout out Jamie. Haven't seen him in a long time. Give it a 5. Just like me.
I don't know Jamie Ramsey.
Well, he used to be around, but drives for Hannaford. And what did I say the first time I had it? First, I said, I love saying first when I first checked. Coffee explosion. And then the second, I said second, ... crack, ... coffee for days.
So I think this is a great beer. I think we're getting it a little bit late, almost 3 months into it. But I think it's a great beer. And if you like stouts, if you don't like stouts, this is not for you. If you like coffee
Where's that
stouts,
first?
yep.
That was New Year's Eve we had this in the bottle.
If you like, I don't remember New Year's Eve. I have no recollection.
Jeez.
Just saying. None.
I said, love this beer so much. Chewy dark roast coffee. Thick AF. This is dumb. So good. So
So New Year's before last, I was good. Hardly had any beers. Stayed up, watched the ball drop. I was good. This last New Year's, I don't even think I had that many beers. I think I'm just so old, because I'm almost 51, that like at 11 o'clock I crashed. Like no recollection of anything. Not because I drank beers, just because I'm
old. I don't
old.
remember what we did on New Year's.
We cooked a ton of
food. Oh
food.
yeah, you cooked a ton of food.
A ton of food, had a few beers, and I think by 11 o'clock I had crashed. Yeah. And I don't think it's because I had beers. I just think I was so tired I crashed and I had no recollection.
Shout out early New Year's.
Yeah.
I'm shouting out everything. Alright, we gotta get out of here. I've already done my final chug. Are you gonna do your final chug?
I'm gonna do my final chug, and then we're gonna do one more review.
We're always doing one more review.
And then
I didn't do very good on my final chug.
No, we're gonna do one more review. I'm gonna have one more review.
So are we good on this one?
We're
You're gonna
good.
do a final chug?
No, I'm not doing a final chug. 100%.
Alright. Let's get out of here, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and ring that bell.
And cheers!
Do all the things. And comment. Love to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, but I really look forward to the comments.
Are you Tim Chase? Do you hate this beer? Did you love this beer? Have you had this beer? And if you haven't, you probably can't get it anymore. But if it comes out again and you like dark roasted coffee and you like thick chewy beers with coffee, this
chewy
is the
beers.
beer.
I've never been a
you.
chewy beer thing.
Well,
beers are not chewy.
If they're thick, people call
No,
them
they're
chewy.
not. They're thick. They go down thick. They're smooth, whatever. But beers are not chewy. I've always struggled with that.
That's what people say.
I don't care. I struggle with chewy beers. You don't chew on beers ever.
I do sometimes.
No. Nope. So on that note,
All right, cheers everyone. I'm out of coffee and beer.